This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Mike Night. I am your host, Noah Taluki, and on today's episode, you guessed it, we're talking Michigan State's 37-33 victory over the Michigan Wolverines. We're going to break that game down for you, and also a little bit of my, I don't want to call it hatred, but just some questioning that I have to do with the University of Michigan and why they do certain things that they seem to always do. I'll break that down for you. And also, we will get into some Lions talk a little bit later because that's another, that's just a messy situation there that we'll get to later. But we always lead off with the Lions. But this week, I got to do it. I got to lead off with the Paul Bunyan Trophy winners for the second straight year. Michigan State coming in number 8 in the country. They beat Michigan, the 6th-ranked team in the country, 37-33. I mean, just what an absolute whale of a game this was. I mean, this game, just like it did in 2015, lived up to its hype. And now, I wasn't able to watch the game live. I had other commitments with John Carroll football. By the way, shout out to the Blue Streaks. They won 50-7 over the Quakers of Wilmington College. But I had a lot of friends up there in the press box with me, and they kept sharing score updates with me. Someone had it on live on their phone, so I just kept, every time there was a timeout or something, I'd always look down to see what was going on. So I watched a little bit of it live, but not the whole thing. But regardless, I talked about last week how if Cade McNamara played really well, I thought Michigan could win, but I didn't think he would. I was wrong. 28-44, 383 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 93-yarder to Andrell Anthony when Michigan went up 10-0 in the first quarter. I got a little worried at first because really, here's my allegiances, if you will. I like to consider myself a neutral Michigan and Michigan State fan in football. So neutral in that aspect, but in basketball, I side with Michigan State. You know, going to high school with Cassius Winston, always loving Coach Tom Izzo and the Spartans, and that I've always liked that. But in this game, I really wanted Michigan State to win. I did, because and this is why. We'll continue with Cade and all them later, but this is what I have a problem with Michigan fans. And you know, agree with me or not, but there are some sane Michigan fans out there. There are. But it's just such a tough fan base sometimes. Because Michigan, I feel, is the fans that always talk. They're the people that are always talking about how great they are. They're the leaders and the best. Who's got it better than us? You know, so they always talk. You heard guys like, you know, I heard what Taylor Lewan had to say. Taylor Lewan doesn't even go to Michigan anymore. And these guys, he's still saying, oh, little brother this, little brother that, and, you know, Michigan's going to take it too. I mean, just like all this smack talk, I'm like, you don't even go here anymore. You don't even go to Michigan. I'm just tired of the talk from Michigan because they cannot back it up. And this was another prime example. Michigan cannot win the big games. They can't. They've never been able to under Harbaugh. Now, they came in with a 7-0 record. I was happy for Michigan because at least they were on the right track. But they haven't played a ranked opponent until Michigan State. Harbaugh's never won in East Lansing. Or no, he has won in East Lansing every game, actually. But he never has beaten a top 15 team on the road. Still cannot beat a top 15 team on the road. I'm tired of the talk from Michigan. Do you hear Michigan State people talking? Oh, you know, I saw the whole thing with the couches burning and all that. In my opinion, that's a stupid tradition. I don't understand why Michigan State does that. But still, you don't hear them talking all the time, and you know, you don't hear them saying little brother this or talking smack. You just don't hear that. That's who they are. And Mel Tucker he indirectly kind of talked about it, like, you know, that's just who Michigan is. Just trying to hype his team up. That's not who Michigan State is. Michigan State isn't the people that talk. They walk the walk. They don't talk the talk. That's Michigan. Michigan State walks the walk, and they did it again because they made big plays in big moments. Peyton Thorne struggled, 19 of 30, 196 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. He struggled. But what do good teams do? Good teams make plays when needed. Xavier Henderson breaking up a big pass. The interception at the end of the game to seal it. Kenneth Walker, KW3 or K9 as some people call him. 197 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 in the biggest game of the year. This guy needs to be up for Heisman. He needs to be in the Heisman conversation. He better be invited to New York come December. He's been playing a heck of a football season. The transfer, Kenneth Walker III. But big time teams make big time plays in big time moments. That's what Michigan did. Did Michigan State did that? Did Michigan? Not really. Not really. Besides the big 93-yarder to open up the scoring for Michigan, MSU just dominated. 15. They outscored Michigan 15-3 in the fourth quarter. It was the largest comeback in the rivalry's history, I think, since 2004. What a great time in East Lansing. Bryce, by the way, shout out to my sister Grace, who goes to Loyola in Chicago, who actually was able to go to the game. They don't have football over there at Loyola, so she was able to go with some of her friends to the MSU Michigan game. So I know she had a great time over there and witnessed one of the best games and the most watched game in college football. So this year so far. So that was awesome there, and I was just, when I saw Michigan State won, I was jumping up and down when I was calling our John Carroll football game because I was very, very happy that that Sparty came out on top. Because I just respect the fact that Michigan State doesn't talk. And this kind of started under D'Antonio. They don't talk the talk, they walk the walk. Michigan talks the talk, but doesn't back it up. That's what I just don't like about Michigan. Now, if Michigan, if they walk the walk, I'd be okay with Michigan. I wouldn't have anything against them. I'm not loyal to Michigan State like some people are. I didn't go to school there. I don't really have many connections there besides Cassius and a couple other friends. I don't have like this diehard allegiance. But still, I just like Michigan State's mentality a little bit more, especially when it comes to this. And by the way, they were rewarded with a number 3 seed in the brand new college football playoff rankings that just came out this week. So, if Michigan State wins out, they're definitely going to make the college football playoff, no doubt. But they definitely have a next couple games for sure. At Purdue, that's going to be interesting. On the road in the Big Ten, never easy, especially Purdue, who can be a sneaky team sometimes. Michigan State has to take care of business there. Then Maryland, that should be a win. But then their final two games are tough. They have to go to Ohio State, and then they play Penn State at home. Those are not easy. That's going to be the season-defining moment now, is the Ohio State game, I think. Because, to be quite frank, if they beat Purdue, they beat Maryland, and they beat Ohio State, I think Penn State, I think that'll take care of it. And then Michigan State will be Big Ten East champs, and we'll have to play the winner of the Big Ten West in Indianapolis. So, because right now Ohio State and Michigan both 7-1, but Ohio State's still undefeated in conference play. Right now, the leader of the West is Minnesota, 6-2. They're 4-1 in the Big Ten. Wisconsin's 5-3, 3-2 in the Big Ten. By the way, Wisconsin with a big win over Iowa this week. Iowa's really struggled since they were ranked up in the top 5 there. It's interesting. And for Michigan, of course, they got to do some soul searching, in my opinion, because this is yet another loss to a top 15 team in the country, especially on the road. They got some soul searching. This can't be. If I'm Michigan, I'm trying to win the rest of my games. The season's not over. You still have to make a statement. Indiana this week, at Penn State, at Maryland, and then Ohio State at home. Now, if Michigan would have beat Michigan State, maybe the trajectory is a little bit different, but could see Michigan losing to Iowa possibly, just because they're a little bit. I think they're a little bit hungover from this loss. They could be, at least. Iowa or Indiana can be a little bit of a sneaky team sometimes. I could possibly see Michigan losing this, but if they go out and blow out Indiana, I think that'd be really good momentum heading into the final 3 games of the season. But McNamara played well. He did. 383 yards. I mean, when was the last time a Michigan quarterback threw for that many yards? It's been a long time. But big bad Michigan with their rushing attack. Only 146 total yards during the game, which is low compared to their standards. I mean, their leading rusher was Hassan Haskins with 59 yards. Big bad Michigan's going to try to run it all the time. Teams are going to dare Cade McNamara to throw. Now, will this success be sustained? Who knows? After one game isn't a defining moment. So Cade's going to have to play. He's going to have to play even better down the stretch, I think, if Michigan wants to win its next couple games. So but definitely have to look out for that for sure with both teams. But just a huge win for Michigan State, and I'm very proud of the Spartans and Coach Mel Tucker. I think Mel Tucker's the real deal at this point. I mean, the way that he's turned Michigan State around, just after sort of the mess that D'Antonio left, after he kind of wore out his welcome a little bit, but he's still active with the team. He was there. He was celebrating with the team, all that, which I respect D'Antonio still being around, but it was a little bit of a messy situation that Mel Tucker walked in. Of course, he was hired so late. Didn't really get a full season last year, but there were some spurts here and there of some good wins, some good play, but then I don't think anyone expected Michigan State to be undefeated at this point of the season. Mel Tucker just doing a phenomenal job. He's got SEC ties, NFL ties. This is a really, really smart football guy, and a great defensive mind. And I think Mel Tucker will definitely be sought after for some other jobs, but he's definitely going to have to make sure he stays at Michigan State, because Michigan State's going to need him. And like I said, if Michigan State wins out, they're getting a chance in the college football playoff. Right now it's Georgia, Alabama, Michigan State, and Oregon. So they left Cincinnati and Ohio State off. We'll see how those rankings change in the coming weeks or so, but that's a very solid win for the MSU Spartans. And you know what? I just really hope Michigan just doesn't talk anymore. Please. How about you talk when you actually win the Big Ten, go to the college football playoff, have some sort of big-time success with Jim Harbaugh. Because Harbaugh's record isn't bad. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just he can't beat the good teams. That's the problem. Because there was so much expectation put on Jim Harbaugh that they would be going to national championships, be going to college football playoffs. And I'm just so sick and tired of hearing the excuses from Michigan fans. Just move on, man. Just admit that your team lost, your team can't get it done, and move on. Move on. Don't complain. Don't backtalk Michigan State. Don't play big brother over them. No. Move on. Move on. I want to get to some Lions talk right now as well to put this Michigan State game to bed, but this is a game that, and I was telling some people this earlier in the week after the game. This might be the most disappointed I've ever been in my franchise, ever. You're coming off a great performance against the Rams. I mean, okay, I wouldn't call it great, but good. Coming off a good performance against the Rams. Now, did they get it done offensively? Heck no. Defensively, they held the Rams, in check for the most part. They allowed some points here and there, but there were spurts that they were playing really well defensively. And I knew it would be a close game. And so you think, okay, they might be, a little bit of momentum. Maybe into Philadelphia next week, who's 2-5, looking like their season's going nowhere. Playing some inspired football. You've been so close. Let's get the job done in front of the fans at home, just before the bye week. Let's put this 0-17 talk to bed. And what the Lions did was not put the 0-17 talk to bed. They wet the bed. They wet the bed and lost 44-6 to a team that looked like they were Super Bowl champions. This was like the Tampa Bay Lions game last year when Tampa Bay just absolutely destroyed the Lions. They went on to win the Super Bowl. That's the difference, though. They're a Super Bowl team. Philadelphia isn't, but they acted like one. Philadelphia came out, and it looked like that they were just playing inspired football. They looked like they were fired up about something. The Lions, they didn't look fired up at all. At all. And, I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of what Dan Campbell has to say afterwards sometimes. I'm getting a little bit tired of, that's on me. I didn't have the guys prepared. Dan, didn't you say that a couple weeks ago? How you're going to change stuff up at practice. How you're going to get the guys to prepare better for these games. You said that a couple weeks ago, didn't you? You're saying it again for the Eagles game. Not prepared again. Outcoached again. Offense stinking again. I mean, it's just like a broken record. I mean, is Jared Goff the worst quarterback in the league right now? Sack after sack. He was sacked 5 times. It got to the point where David Blau had to come into the game. And by the way, fans, if you want David Blau to start over Jared Goff, no. Jared Goff is the best quarterback on this team right now. David Blau is going to do even worse. Oh man. I don't even know what to say. Couldn't run the ball again. And the first part of the season, they were running the ball decent. Just they couldn't really showcase it because they had to run, or they had to throw the ball all the time. DeAndre Swift, 12 carries, 27 yards. 2.3 yards a carry. Long of 7. The longest rush the Lions had all day was 9 yards. 9. Philadelphia put up a season-high 236 yards. They pummeled the Lions. Pummeled. Could not believe it. Hey, at least they targeted TJ. 11 targets, caught 10 balls. But I need to see Amon-Ra St. Brown step up. I need to see Khalif Raymond step up a little bit more than get 1 target the entire game. They used Godwin, the Iwabuke, the kick returner, a little bit more. Darryl Hodge got 2 targets. They even brought out Jamar Jefferson. Tried to see if he could spark a little juice. He had the garbage time touchdown at the end of the game. But the Lions are just trying everything they can desperately. And you know what? Another question that came to mind in this game was and there's 2 people in particular that I'm thinking of. And it goes with a lot of other members, but 2 people in particular. One is Anthony Lynn, the offensive coordinator. The other one, Jared Goff, the quarterback. Is it to the point where these people were so good or were decent with people around them, with good players around them? Anthony Lynn, a good offensive coordinator with good players around him. Jared Goff, a good quarterback with pretty good players around him. Are they just nothing in the NFL without good players around them? Because it seems like it is. Anthony Lynn is still calling, man-to-man passing plays in zone coverage and zone pass plays in man coverage. Still can't figure it out. The Lions don't have a lot of talent at receiver. We know this. They got a banged-up offensive line as well. Getting Taylor Decker back helps this week. I'm assuming they're going to move, or 2 weeks from now against the Steelers. I'm assuming they're going to move Sewell to right tackle and Decker to left because this Matt Nelson experiment is over with. I mean, he gave up a couple sacks, and he just did not look good against that Eagles pass rush on Sunday. Not good at all. So some reshuffling with the offensive line, but they just don't have talent at receiver. Don't you think the Lions would do their homework and say, hey, look, they're good with all these guys around them. They're going to be good with the players that we have. Did they do that? Or should they have said, look, we understand, let's get players. Let's get some free agents. Let's try to recruit some guys. Let's try to build this thing the right way. Try to sell guys on coming here. They didn't do that. They got Michael Brockers. What has Michael Brockers done on defense? Nothing. I was telling him, another guy that's not impressed is Michael Brockers. He's like, who is that? I didn't know he's on the team. Exactly. Our big free agent signing from this year. Nothing. Barely done anything. Let's see what he registered. What was his stats? I can't even find a stat. Michael Brockers. Oh, he had 3 tackles. I mean, just nothing. And there's, as our good friend Matt Derry says, and I've talked about this a little bit, but there's like a difference between NFL good and Lions good. And there's a couple players on this team that are Lions good. Like Khalif Raymond is just Lions good. These guys can't play in the NFL. 0-8. The more weeks go by, the more it seems like it could be 0-17. Now, do I think realistically the Lions are going to go 0-17? No. I don't think so. I think they at least have one win in store. Personally, right now, I think the best chance to win that game is on Thanksgiving against the Bears. But it's crazy. And you know what? And now there's stories circulating that fans don't want to show up. And you know what? Dan Campbell said it. I don't blame him. Now there's about 65,000 people at Ford Field sits. There's about 50,000 going to the game, and who knows if that's even an accurate number. Might just be the tickets sold. Some people might not even just go to games. Ford Field is looking very empty these days, and the energy just isn't there like it used to be. Because there's just so many fans that have so much apathy towards this team. And look, you guys know me. I'm about as pro-Lions as there'll ever be. I always have faith in my team. If I was telling people, I says, if I had season tickets, I would get them. I'd go to every game if I could because I like it. I like watching my team. I don't care if they win or lose or whatever. I like watching the Lions. That's just who I am as a fan. But I'm just getting concerned a little bit more because now, I just start to wonder, why did they hire Dan Campbell? Well, seems like the number one option was Matt Campbell from Iowa State. They couldn't lure him away from Iowa State to coach the Lions. So then, talk around the league, nobody wanted this job. So they had to go with like a third or fourth option, Dan Campbell. I keep telling you, I like Dan Campbell. I like his mentality. I like how he's genuine. I like how he's an ex-player. I like how he's brought a lot of ex-players in. I like how he's brought some coaches that seem to be head coaching candidates like Deuce Staley or Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator. I like that. A lot of experience playing in the NFL. But does it all blame on them? No. I think some of it has to do with the players. They just need to get some people in here. Now, it's going to be tough because, of course, Trey Flowers, Jared Goff, among others, even Vitae, I think they're eating up a big chunk of the salary. How are they going to be able to afford getting free agents in here? It's gonna be a very interesting offseason because that's really all I'm thinking about right now. We're halfway through the season, the regular season. I'm just thinking about the offseason. We'll get into more draft talk later on when it's more established what position the Lions will be in the draft, but I'm just saying this: the future of this franchise, the Lions just need some players. They got to draft the right people, and it seems like that there's some okay corner pieces. Like Sewell could be a corner piece. There's a couple guys in the D-line, like Onwuzurike if he can develop, Ali McNeil if he can develop. But I just don't know. It's just I just really hope that, and I know players, they say they're buying in and all that, but how long will they buy in for until it's just enough? You just got results. You just need results. Because the NFL is just such a results business. You need results. By the way, speaking of the game, how about big play Darius Slay? with the fumble return for a touchdown on a forced fumble from Avonte Maddox, who went to Detroit King High School, played on that field as a high schooler. I just thought that was kind of crazy. Avonte Maddox, Detroit native, scooped up by Darius Big Play Slay, who he watched as a high schooler. Crazy. Deja vu, if you will. Big Play Slay, anyone notice on the broadcast? He was signing autographs with like a minute left in the game. He was signing autographs to fans that were putting their jerseys down on the wall there, and right by the Eagles sideline. Oh man, crazy stuff. I thought the Lions had a chance because, especially with all that stuff that Nick Sirianni was talking about, the Eagles head coach, the Mount Union graduate, talking about flowers and how our season's like you're nourishing flowers by watering them and the roots grow. I'm like, how do you motivate an NFL player by saying that? I just thought we were going to win. I mean, just especially with all that, but I was just mistakenly, big time mistaken. There's some more soul searching the Lions have to do, and they better take this bye week and prepare for the Steelers and the Browns. Two big games. Hopefully, I'm hoping to go to both, because it's one's in Pittsburgh, the other one's here in Cleveland. Definitely be cheering on my Lions. I've never been to a Lions road game during the regular season, so I've been to some preseason. Cleveland on the road in preseason, but not for the regular season. And I know there's a lot of friends over here that are asking if they want to go with me and stuff. So I'll keep you updated in the next coming weeks, but make sure to check out all the other great content on the podcast network. We got the Doc and Jock podcast that comes out every Thursday, the Wrestling podcast, Michigan podcast. I'm sure Steve Dace and company will have a lot to say about that Michigan loss, and the Fan Report, and a lot of Pistons talk on there as well. Not a good start for the Pistons, by the way. Cade Cunningham, with that ankle injury, just has not been the same his first couple games in the league. So we'll see if that ankle injury gets any better for the Pistons. But and make sure to always check out John Macaroon's fantastic content on SI Lions. But thanks again, folks, for tuning in, and make sure to tune in next week only on Open Mic Night.